Best scene, served cold. Interior, Sonia's house, evening. Janet and Margaret enter. Janet hands Sonia a bottle of wine, and Margaret offers a bouquet of flowers.
Steal those flowers from the funeral home chapel?
Exactly. It was my specialty when I was a nun. Thievery of church flora.
God, it's good to see you two again. There are drinks out on the deck.
As they walk towards the door to the deck, suddenly there's a loud crack. Margaret flinches.
What was that?
Willa's in full fury.
What?
Come on.
They continue walking to a sliding door and move through it. On the porch, Willa blows 2 large soap bubbles with her left hand, and as they drift a little distance on the breeze, Willa jerks her right hand out from her side and expertly snaps a bullwhip twice in quick succession, bursting both bubbles with menacing snaps. She then turns to the others and smiles.
I think of the bubbles as Charlie's testicles.
You're really good with that whip, Willa.
It helps.
Charlie?
Yeah.
It's been 5 years since the school reunion, Willa. Maybe we should try to forget about Charlie and move on.
That reunion was simply the icing on a cake that had been baking for years.
More like burning for years.
But wouldn't we get some peace of mind if we put him behind us? He dropped out of the music business 5 years ago, and no one's seen him since.
Maybe Margaret's right.
Willa shakes her head at Janet in disgust.
You, of all people, really?
Well, you're talking about the baby.
Yeah, the baby, the one you...
Janet moves towards Willa with fire in her eyes. Margaret steps between them and Sonia restrains Janet.
We need to settle down here. Please.
Willa and Janet move away from one another.
What would you do, Margaret, if you had a chance to confront Charlie?
What?
Come on, woman. He screwed you, and then he discarded you like a used condom, just like the rest of us.
Now, Sonia.
I don't want any devil's advocate bullshit, Margaret. Think about what you would do to Charlie.
Why? Charlie disappeared and...
We think we found him.
No.
Willa and I have been looking for him for a while now.
We got serious a few months ago and hired a private investigator, a friend of Sonia's.
The doorbell rings and Sonia excuses herself.
If we have found Charlie, we need to discuss options about how to deal with him. Sonia and I have an idea to present to you.
Deal with him?
Revenge, Margaret. We're talking about revenge, damn it.
Sonia steps onto the porch with Carol Sterling, who is about a decade younger than the other ladies and speaks with a British accent.
Carol, this is Janet and Margaret, and that's Willa. Ladies, this is Carol Sterling, a freelance writer.
I've read a number of your articles. They're pretty powerful on the feminist side of things.
I tend to write articles in support of the cause.
It's not what we're looking for.
I see, then why am I here?
Because we like your writing style and the amount of research you seem to put into your work.
And your being published will help with the credibility of the piece.
Then what is this about?
I'd like to know that too.
And me.
Revenge.
Look, we made this call to Carol after we met you at the funeral home and asked you here for drinks. If we've overstepped...
Maybe we'll hear what you have to say. Margaret?
Okay.
Carol, you've covered the music scene, right?
I've done articles for several magazines.
Do you know who Charlie Slick is?
Oh, sure, rock musician, a few moderately successful albums, a career just short of the big time. Several drug busts, but no jail time, never married, spent a lot of his life on the road, dropped out of sight a few years ago.
You left out philanderer and woman abuser.
Liar, cheat, irresponsible with money.
No morals or ethics, selfish.
Incapable of loyalty. Narcissistic.
Really, no redeeming values at all.
Nice smile, good at fornication.
So let me get this straight. All of you have been abused by Charlie.
Yes.
And you've been looking for him.
Sonia and I, only recently.
Seeking retribution, and you want me to help with that.
That's right.
By writing an article about it.
Yes.
Were there any other options?
Killing him would be nice.
But we couldn't kill him 4 times.
We thought of emasculating him, but none of us has the skill.
And there was no user's manual.
So,
What we really want is to confront him, face to face.
Charlie needs to know what he has done to us.
What we've had to live with all this time.
so you think a negative exposure story will do the trick?
Actually, 4 stories, if Margaret and Janet agree.
But roll it all into one big story. An expose on Charlie Slick.
In a mainstream magazine, something like Rolling Stone or RPM or Spin, we want everyone to know the real Charlie.
And why would this work?
Because Charlie is as vain as they come. This will hurt him in a very big way.
And before you send it out to be published, we will take it to Charlie so he can be the first to read it.
In front of us. We want to see the look on his face when he does.
And we want to hear him beg for us not to publish it.
So, What do you think, Carol?
Do I get to interview Charlie?
No.
Carol looks at each of them. Then,
If Margaret and Janet are on board, I'll do it.
Janet?
I'm in.
Margaret?
God forgive me. Yes.
How long do I have?
A month. We'll give you one story a week.